Today we're going to be trying something that I have never seen tried before. What you have probably seen before, I'm sure, is this beautiful Krink Silver formula that everyone raves about, and sort of with good reason. The formula itself, it's thick, it's juicy, it's one of the shiniest, brightest silver formulae I have seen, and although I don't regularly use Krink products because of the hefty price tag that they come with compared to some other mops, I bought this one in particular for a chrome formula review video. Link in the cards to that one if you want to look at it. And I was pleasantly surprised by the Krink Silver. There, I admitted it. But that being said, I still don't plan on using this Krink Silver regularly, and what better way is there to use it up than to mix it with a high-powered, high-staining ink, such as this Inkredible ink by OTR. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. By the end of this video, you'll have seen number one, what some Krink Silver formula tags look like, just as a little reminder, and number two, what it looks like when you mix a beautiful Krink Silver formula with some sort of high-powered staining ink, such as this Inkredible ink. We'll be seeing if the new formula, in about probably a 3:2 ratio of paint to ink, keeps that nice light fastness that a lot of paints have, while maybe maintaining some of that staining power of the ink. We'll maybe even do a bleed through test. So if you guys are gonna get some value out of seeing me do that rather than you having to pay like 15 bucks for a Krink K60 and another 10 for some of this ink, then maybe let me know by hitting that thumbs up button, and we'll head over to the testing area and get this rolling. Welcome to the testing area, everyone. This is where all the magic happens, and we're going to be trying to create a little bit of magic here today and hopefully create a magical paint and ink formula, I guess is what we're trying to do. Bottom line, hopefully this isn't a big waste of some beautiful Krink Silver formula. That would be a shame. So I'm gonna start off by tagging up some subscribers' names who have asked me for hit-offs with the Krink Silver straight up, just to show you what we're dealing with here with the Krink formula, the juiciness of it, the thickness especially of it, and the shininess, what it looks like, how bright is it. And while I do that, I'll tell you a bit about the formula itself and who among us writers will enjoy using a formula such as the Krink Silver, and who might not. If you are looking for more info specifically on the Krink K60s, I would strongly suggest that you head over and check out our review that we have here on the channel of the Krink K60. It is the #1 review on YouTube of the Krink K60 currently, and it has been since it's been released. And as always, if you do end up thinking you want to pick up either of these products, we always have the products linked in the description where you can pick them up, that is. So without further ado, let's see what this Krink Silver can do. So I know some people are going to say, Sciz, you're crazy tainting this Krink Silver formula with anything else. And I hear you, I do. So let me tell you some of the best features of this Krink Silver and hopefully demonstrate them as well for those of you who aren't familiar with it. It really does speak for itself. As you can see, the Krink Silver specifically is so thick. It's really a very white silver, has a lot of brightness, a lot of light fastness to it as well. Something you guys should see is the comparison of how reflective the formula is as well. I did a video comparing a bunch of the top chrome and silver formulae, where you can see that if you choose, like I mentioned before, it's in the corner. But really, we're looking at a hugely impressive formula despite the incredibly overinflated price tag on the Krink K60s. And as someone who's taken quite a bit of time in past videos, like the one where I explain my sort of analysis of some of Krink's business decisions, which you can see too in the corner or in the description, I think it's fair to say that this silver is a cool thing by itself, but that isn't going to stop us from experimenting and trying to work some magic with the formula itself. And adding our nice Inkredible ink here is going to do a couple things to the formula. And the #1 thing it's going to do is, of course, it'll make the Krink Silver a little bit darker, right? Especially with this sort of dark red that we have here. And that's one of the reasons I chose the Krink Silver specifically to try this out with. It's such a bright light silver. So I'm hoping it can withstand a little bit of darkening and still maintain that nice luster that it really does. does have. Like, this is gorgeous stuff, you have to admit. And the second thing that's going to be done to our Krink Silver formula here is, of course, the ink will thin it. Inks in general, very, very thin. I hate how they sort of just, their drips slide down the surface, don't maintain any of the three-dimensionality the same way that a paint drip does. So that's another reason I chose the Krink Silver specifically, being that it's one of, if not the thickest silver paint I have found on the graffiti market. I'm hoping it can withstand a little bit of thinning and maintain a bit of the three-dimensionality and thickness even after we add some of this ink. And just to quickly let you guys know a bit about inks and paints, a paint formula such as the Krink K60 Silver here has an insoluble pigment to it. In the case of silvers, sort of a shiny pigment to it. That's how they create the lustrous effect. And that insoluble sort of powder is suspended within a resin, which helps it stick to a surface enough to tag with rather than just sliding down a surface as water would. And then there's also a solvent added in there as well. Ink, on the other hand, ink has a soluble, not insoluble, a soluble sort of powder that is dissolved into that resin binder. So inks generally tend to be less light fast, so they do fade, but they do offer much better staining prospects. And of course they offer some bleed through power as well. They do actually stain a surface or bleed through a paint layer or a lot of layers that you can cover them up with. So that's really what we're trying to do here. We're really trying to capture the best of both worlds here by combining these. So we are trying to maintain a bit of the bleed through here, the stainability of the ink, while maintaining hopefully some of the thickness of the Krink K60 Silver formula, some of the light fastness of the paints. That's something that paints are really good at, as well as in this case, the fifth thing we're trying to maintain here is some of that luster from the silver formula itself. So that's really 5 things that we're hopefully trying to hold on to. We're hoping that the formulas don't really damage each other, but more assist each other, mixed in proper proportions. But that's the hard part, right? Mixing them in proper proportions. So what I'm going to try here is something like maybe a 3-to-2 type thing, so that we're dealing with a bit more paint to hopefully keep the thickness, because I think that's going to be the hard aspect to keep here. So let's see what we can do filling this up now.
Perfect.
So we filled this up after we do a few tags on number 1, a dark surface here, a black surface. I also have a white surface that we're gonna throw some tags on. And I do have to say right away, I definitely underestimated just how insidious this red ink is. So we are definitely dealing with a little bit of a darker mixture now, and we may get a bit of that coppery luster. That would be nice. But something else we are going to do is we are going to do a bleed through test. We're just going to throw some paint over it, probably just with a white, just to see if it stands up to any bleed through. And hey, if there is a bit of bleed through, then we're definitely onto something, and we have not wasted our precious Krink Silver paint. So let's get started. Throw some tags with this new creation on the dark surface, then a white surface as well. Let's do it. Wow. goodness. Look at that. Guys, this is incredible. Just look at the two-toned, still fairly thick. I have no words for this. I can't even begin to describe what this is. I may have created the best ink and paint mix on the planet, and I will stand by that claim. Oh my gosh. Just look at the color change in here too. Like, I have no words for this. Neither formula is hurting the other one. I swear. Oh. Guys, where do I even start with this formula that we've created? I will back myself 100% in saying that I think this is the best ink/paint mixture formula that I have ever seen. And it might be the best one ever, because this is just, you can see it. Like, what do I even say about it? Despite the color you're seeing in the actual mop, it's maintaining so much of that shine and luster. I don't think it's lost any of that. It is slightly darker with sort of a 3:2 ratio, remember? So you are seeing a slight darkening, almost a coppering effect. But even mixing it in the mop itself quite consistently, you're still getting sort of this really beautiful, not necessarily a separation, but a difference in how the colors look. Like, there is a little bit of color variation within the lines, which is really present when you look at the drips. And when it does dry, because I'm looking at this dry right now, you guys are looking at the tags, but when it does dry, it is a little less inconsistent. The color evens out a little bit, and it does really just feel like you have a beautiful, shiny, light, fast silver with a red tinge to it. And it's just it's a beautiful red tinge. I can't emphasize enough how impressed and surprised, really, I am. I'm glad I was crazy enough to possibly try and waste Krink Silver paint and mix it with just a good high quality ink to try this out, because this is my idea of perfection. I can't put it any other way. You guys tell me in the comments, please, if this is as impressive to you as it is to me, because largely we're not seeing too much of a difference in consistency here. I would say even this 2/5 ink, 3/5 paint mixture that I have here, it's still a thicker formula the way it is than some paint formulas. I would say it's even thicker than On the Run Soul Tip paint the way it is right now. It's probably thicker than some of the Molotov paints that come in the dripsticks. So we've really maintained, one, the thickness, two, the shininess, hopefully the light fastness. I can't see it fading at all. There's just so much of that shininess coming through that the paint is obviously still in control there, especially with the thickness being there. But what's really left to see here is if any of the staining properties have translated to the formula, and if they're gonna stand up to just a bit of a light bleed through test. So I'm just gonna run in, get a can of paint for us, and we're gonna try and cover this up and see if there's any bleed through effect on some of these dried tags. And if it does end up bleeding through at all, and we do maintain some of those staining properties of the Inkredible ink from OTR, then I honestly am gonna be saying this is the best ink and paint mixture I have ever seen. It's the best in the world. World's best ink and paint mixture. I'm backing it. That's it. Okay, so you can see the Kavok and the Ort tag here. Those are going to be the ones we're covering with paint. More the Kavok one to show that the Krink Silver itself doesn't bleed through anything, and it will be a difference for this, we hope. Just a side note, Orts left a comment mentioning how he thought my editing was getting a little bit better, and I really do appreciate that kind of stuff, so thank you for that comment, Orts. But we're gonna get to this, just cover it up with a white paint. We're just gonna put a normal layer of paint over both these tags and see if our mixture here, our golden mixture, does offer any bleed through capabilities. Let's get to it. Guys, I can't cover it. I can't cover it. And as you see this paint dry, you are going to see it bleed through a little bit more. And I mean, look at this. Obviously, none of the luster from the silver is shining through. That's because that pigmentation itself is insoluble and it's not bleeding through anything. But the bleed through soluble pigmentation of the Inkredible ink here is exactly what you're seeing 100%. To clarify, what we're actually proving here is just that it functions the way any other paint and ink mixture would, and it does bleed through. But to me, just this look, you can't beat it. You cannot beat the look that you're getting here. If you wanted to tweak the formula, you could probably go closer to a half-half, but that's hard to do when you're playing around with this Krink Silver stuff, right? Like, you don't have a lot to waste, hence why I'm here doing it, so you guys don't have to spend the money to try and figure this out. But even though that's the case, I still stand by my claim 100% that using Krink Silver in a paint and ink mix formula is something I have not seen done before, and I really think it's produced a best-in-class ink and paint mix. We were very lucky to sort of get the proportions close to right on our first try here. And I do want to remind everyone that the difference between making an ink and paint mix that really is great, like I would argue this one is, and one that's just sort of average or even poor, is very, very slim in terms of those proportions. It really is a bit of a proportional guessing game. So you do have to play around, that is the important part. But if you guys have any ink and paint mixes that you've been rocking lately like this, or just any sort of mixes, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. You guys in the comments can share more knowledge than I could ever fit in one compact little video, so the more knowledge we all share, the better off we all are. I would highly recommend that you check out a couple of the videos I mentioned during this video. Number one, the chrome formula comparison video. That one is an excellent look at the different chrome formulae on the market. One of my personal favorite videos I've done is one where I talk about the tactics that Krink uses to make more money in the graffiti market and survive. So that one is one of my favorite videos that I made. I would highly recommend you check it out. I hope you found this video interesting, at least helpful, something like that. And I hope I'll see you in one of the videos on screen that I mentioned quite soon. Until then, peace.